My name's Andie Weese. I am the Marketing and Communications Coordinator at Techplace and Burlington Economic Development. So I have a whole bunch of responsibilities. So on the Techplace side of things, I handle all the internal communication with Techplace. So we have 6 launchpad companies that take up residency here, as well as over 200 endorsed users who can come in and leverage the resources we have here. So I do all of the newsletters for Techplace. I manage social media and I oversee communication with them. So we do some weekly updates, do some targeted outreach for events, all that fun stuff. On the Burlington economic development side of things, I handle communication with the mayor. So it's a lot of press releases, again, newsletters, managing social media. No 2 days are ever the same for me. I'm actually working on a groundbreaking project right now. We have a company that's expanding in Burlington, so they'll be about doubling their size and adding 40 new jobs to the community. So I am working with their team to make sure that event goes smoothly. So again, no 2 days are ever the same. So Techplace, we opened in June of 2017. So I've been with the space since we opened. Honestly, no 2 days are ever the same. We get around 500 to 600 visitors a month coming in. So whether that's for events, for meetings, to hot desk, or just to kind of check it out and see what we're up to. So a typical day here would probably involve me working on a newsletter. We do monthly newsletters for Techplace as well as Burlington Economic Development. Taking a look at what social content we have coming up, working on promotional packs that we send out to our partners to get them to promote our events or our resources, kind of touching up a press release, and then I could easily get pulled away to help out in some capacity for an event that we're working on or just the general operations of the space. So I started off as a summer intern. So I was a summer intern when I was in university. So between my 3rd and 4th year, I was the summer marketing intern at Economic Development. So the interview process for that, I had applied for so many jobs and I just really wanted a marketing job. I knew it's what I wanted to get into. But it's one of those catch-22, so you can't get experience without having experience, and no one would hire me for experience. So the interview process was your standard. There was a phone interview. I had to do a press release, and then for the actual in-person interview, we had to prepare an event plan for a hypothetical event. So I did all that. It was my first time doing it. I remember calling my aunt and uncle being what the heck do I do for this? Please help me. Because they were the target audience for the events. They were able to give me some good insights. I went to Staples and got mock invites printed up because I was just go that extra mile. So that was my interview process. I honestly didn't feel great leaving my interview just because, again, I didn't have that professional experience of being in a lot of interviews. Now I've sat on the other side of the table and I've hired my fair share of summer interns. I kind of think I'd be able to do it a lot better again. But yeah, so I actually never interviewed for my role as marketing and communications coordinator. It all kind of fed into one another. Yeah, so we use Hootsuite at Techplace and Burlington Economic Development. I personally love Hootsuite. I know there's a bunch of kind of other tools similar to it. They've made everything super easy so that you can see where you've been mentioned. You can schedule upcoming content, which is awesome, as well as kind of see what people are saying about you online. That's really what I use to manage social media. I also do content calendars. So every quarter, I will go through and kind of map out items that we have upcoming, so whether that's events that we're going to be needing to promote, stuff for the city that we want them to promote, or stuff that our partners want us to share on our channels. I'll pop it all into a calendar and kind of use that as a baseline. So I think managing social media, a lot of it's about organization and seeing what's coming up and making sure you're prepared for it and have all the tools in place to be successful. So Techplace and BDC, we're not a direct to consumer. We don't have a product to sell anyone, let's say. We use our social media, a lot of it for engaging with the community. So Economic Development is an arm's length organization of the city of Burlington. So we want to make sure that residents know what we're up to and making sure that they're knowledgeable on the businesses that are in Burlington, as well as making sure the business community is well aware of what's out there. So whether that's events, whether that's resources, whether that's just general kind of community stuff, as well as sharing those good news stories on the Techplace side of things. So Hall Tech, for instance, just got a big chunk of funding, so we want to be promoting that. So you need to look at social media as more of a tool to engage and less of a tool to sell, in my opinion. We're in an interesting position as like we don't sell anything, but we do want to make sure everyone's engaged and educated on what we're up to and what's going on in the ecosystem. Yeah, so one of the biggest issues, as you can tell, I kind of do a whole bunch of everything. So it's making sure everything stays organized and everything's getting done, especially with like conflicting deadlines and conflicting priorities. It can all be pretty tough, as well as working with like external agencies, for instance. We'll work with like videographers, we'll work with digital agencies to do promotional material. And it's really all about managing expectations when it comes to marketing and communications. So you want to be able to manage what their expectations should be of you, so you can always deliver on them, as well as knowing exactly what to expect of the person you're working with. So I think being in marketing and communications, it's a very collaborative environment. I've mentioned we work with Haltech, we work with Angel One, we work with the city. So we're all kind of a whole bunch of different moving pieces. And for me, the biggest thing has always been managing your expectations. So managing your expectations of others and making sure that others know what to expect from you. So that way there's no surprises. Everything gets done to the best of its like possible ability. I mean, I've had a couple like mishaps. We all do. Just it's always kind of thinking about the bigger picture. Interesting. So I think one of the big things you learn in university is people skills, dealing with different types of people. At least in my program, we did a bunch of group projects. So it was learning on how to work with different personalities that you wouldn't typically work with. In high school, you can do most projects with your friends. They're also not nearly as serious as they are in university. So that was one of the key things that I took away from my postgrad. Not my postgrad, my undergrad, was how to work with different types of people and people who don't always have the same views as you and don't have the same work ethic as you. So it was learning on how to, again, manage those expectations from people, both what they can expect from you and what you should be expecting of others. And then I did a communications degree, which is, again, heavily focused on writing. So as much as I don't write essays now in my role, I do write a fair bit. And I would kind of, it's something that once you stop writing, it's hard to pick it back up again. Just if you stop doing math is going to get harder the less you do math. So with writing, that was kind of something that I kept writing at a pretty like academic level. Writing style is a lot different in professional communications, but it's still, you kind of have some of those key elements to it. So yeah, those would be kind of the top two things that I took from my undergrad to the workplace. Well, pros, I love it. It's super fun. It's a fun way to be creative. I really like the creative element of it, but I've always said I could never work in creative industries because it's tough when someone says, do you have to be creative today if you're just not feeling it? Or at least that's the way I've always viewed it. So I really like the creative element to marketing. One of the cons, I would say, is kind of those timelines and how you're kind of always on. Social media never stops. So even when you go on vacation, social media doesn't go on vacation. So you have to kind of, it's a lot of upkeeping and making sure that everything's going at 24/7. So that'd be one of the cons, I would say, is that like it's always going, as well as the kind of nature of news these days is once everything's instantaneous. So we have to deal with stuff a lot faster. So press releases, dealing with the media, handling stuff with the city. it's all much faster than it used to be because everything comes out online instantly. So that would be one of the cons, but it's also at the same time a pro because you can share your story instantly. So it's all about how you kind of want to look at things. But I would say the pros for me, definitely the creativity, the collaboration. I really, really enjoy what I do. And yeah, just the cons would kind of be those always on, everything's always happening. It's very hard to unplug in like this kind of environment that we live in now, and especially in like a marketing and communications role. Don't you think you know how to manage your time in university, but you don't because you have days when again you can pull an all-nighter and you get to the professional world and you just can't do that. So time management was a huge thing for me. And then also managing my time like personally, kind of after work. In university, school life, personal life, it's all one big thing. Whereas when you start working, it's very easy to kind of lose track of time and not make time for your friends and not make time for yourself. And I think those are two really important things that you have to do. And it's just about being aware of it. So yeah, time management for sure. Also, like money management. You start working, you start actually having some disposable income. I was like a very frugal student. So it's a bit of a learning curve all of a sudden. For me at least, I finished my last exam and 2 days later I started full time. I would never have it any other way, but it was a big kind of just like a learning curve for me to figure out how do I budget? What is my retirement? What is savings? Like all this stuff that I had when I was in university, but not putting that much effort into it because I was really focused on surviving 4 years and like making sure my rent got paid. And then when I started working, it became much more of like looking at long term, what will help future Andie. So I think those were kind of some of the big things that I've learned since graduating for sure.